From actress to activist, Yara Shahidi has packed quite a lot into her life already. The Blackish star is barely an adult, yet she is wise beyond her years. If you aren't familiar with her yet, you will be soon, because this young woman is taking the world by storm. Shahidi seems to know more than her young age might suggest, a quality she's shown since her childhood, when she skipped first grade. Her teachers wanted to send her straight into third grade, but her mom Carrie felt that skipping 2 grades would be too much. Carrie told Town & Country, "If you're around Yara for more than an hour, you'll see. She's highly intellectually motivated." While Yara started acting at the age of 9, and imagine that, her acting career wasn't deliberately planned.
You gotta do better than that.
Yara told Refinery29, "I wasn't one of those kids who woke up and said, I want to be an actor. I've always wanted to be a historian. For my 10th birthday party, I dressed up as a historian in a seersucker suit." Although she didn't plan on a career in showbiz, it's clear where she gets her talent. Her father is a cinematographer, and her mother is also an actress. With an Iranian father and an African-American mother, Shahidi's multicultural family taught her to appreciate diversity. Her paternal grandfather nurtured a love for history in Shahidi, while her maternal grandfather, who was once associated with the Black Panthers, nurtured her spirit toward activism. Yara told Town & Country, "Because of my family's background, I understand how interconnected cultures are. Traditions may be different, but in terms of shared values, they're transcontinental. My love of history, or even being socially engaged, stems from having, firsthand, people to care about around the globe, and at a young age, expanding my community beyond these fake borders we put on each other."
Being happily half Iranian and happily African American, I've been able to witness just the importance of culture.
Shahidi is also conscious of the marginalization that can come with being a minority, telling Refinery29,
"Half of my family is on a list of countries that cannot enter the U.S., and then the other half of my family has had to deal with systematic suppression."
Shahidi admits that being born at the turn of the millennium also meant she entered into a turbulent era. She explained to Vogue, "So much is happening socially and politically, in a way that is terrifying, but at the same time is producing this incredible level of unity. People's lives, their livelihoods are at stake."
The one thing I've learned from you is the act of engaging, whether you know that person or not.
So what do you do when you're a young person faced with so much unrest? For Shahidi, the answer is clear: advocate for real change. She told the outlet, "Part of being an engaged citizen is looking around you and asking, why is this happening? How is this happening? Why were the cops called on a young girl napping in her common room? Why were they called on a woman at Waffle House?" You have to find the common denominator, and for me, I realized I shared that common denominator and couldn't help but be involved. When Blackish first aired, Shahidi was just 14 years old.
From the moment I read the script, I really wanted to be a part of it.
While her childhood was far from a typical one, growing up on set provided her with a nurturing and supportive upbringing, one that Shahidi is still grateful for.
I should have gotten adopted by Madonna.
She told Net-a-Porter, "It's a funny place to grow up because they appreciate you being a kid, and then there are moments in which they want to know your opinion like a peer. I've always been asked how I felt, whether it be at the dinner table or at my place of work. But overarchingly, what Blackish has shown is the power of aligning with projects you truly believe in. It set a precedence. It is a privilege to be able to say pretty much from the get-go that this is what I enjoy, and for my opportunities to be so aligned." When you're a celebrity, rubbing shoulders with the rich and famous is simply par for the course, but Shahidi has gotten some endorsements that would wow any celeb. Former First Lady Michelle Obama was so impressed with her that she wrote her a letter of recommendation to Harvard, where of course Shahidi was accepted. Oprah is also a fan of the young activist and thinks that she could become president one day.
Yara Shahidi, I hope I'm still around when she becomes president of the United States. That is going to happen.
Shahidi claims she hasn't ruled out a political career, but she's not sure she wants to end up in the White House. She told Entertainment Tonight,
"I definitely want to be in a politics adjacent kind of position, in a space in which I can implement that level of change."
But she's admitted she's not totally sold on president.
I always think about how strange it'll be that they'll be going back to my Instagram that I had when I was 12. So that's a little eerie, but I definitely want to be DC.
If you're thinking that Shahidi's life seems charmed, you're not alone. Even she can't believe the break she's gotten. But one of the things she's proudest of is getting into Harvard, because it's something she had to actively work to earn.
I finished all my 12th grade coursework, committed to school.
She told Vogue, "Getting into college was a big deal because I realized it's probably one of the only things I fully planned. The rest of my life has been, for the most part, a nice little happy accident." But the actress has always prioritized her education, even while focusing on acting.
I mean, I've been a student as long as I've been an actor, if not longer.
She admitted, "School has been the one thing that I've consistently had my eyes on for the past 12 years.
I think Grownish has opened my eyes to all of the other things that happen in college. I really was expecting to just go to class and go to sleep.
Shahidi is active on social media, but she doesn't use it just for the likes. Her online presence is a powerful tool for activism, as it is for many of her peers. She told Refinery29, "Social media matters, sometimes in fantastic ways and sometimes in not so great ways. When you look at my peers on social media, a lot of them are doing other things outside of it. With nearly 4 million followers on Instagram and roughly 400,000 on Twitter, Shahidi is certainly keeping her fans engaged, but not everything she posts is serious, which is a critical part of her brand."
Half the people are like, oh, Yara's doing her thing. And then other people are like, what in the world is happening?
As she told Town & Country, quote, "There's power in just displaying joy." For Shahidi, turning 18 was especially exciting because it meant she was able to vote for the first time. And she celebrated the milestone with a birthday party that doubled as a voter registration drive. She told Net-a-Porter, "The one thing that I am looking forward to is feeling more empowered to contribute. My friends have always said that if I got a fake ID, it would be to vote early.
I really want everyone turning 18 to register to vote this year. You only turn 18 once, so let's make it count."
A month before her birthday, she launched 18 by 18, a voting initiative aimed at encouraging young people to vote, while also educating them on hot-button issues.
We focus on two things: voter registration, voter education, well, I guess a third thing, and how we make civic engagement a daily activity.
Yara told Bustle, "It is about getting rid of that barrier to entry and the intimidation that people go through about not being smart enough to be involved in politics." Acting and even activism aren't enough for Shahidi, and she's determined to give back to the community. Along with 18 by 18, Shahidi's other initiative, Yara's Club, is a mentorship program that brings together high school students to discuss social issues.
Whether it's furthering their education or just being more interested in topics that they're studying, I knew that I wanted to be involved on a regular basis, and Yara's Club was the way to do that.
Shahidi told Forbes, "Being a part of a generation in which societal contribution and action are expected, I've had the great fortune to exponentially grow my philanthropic platform, impacting my global community for the better." Shahidi is blessed with an impeccable sense of style, but she's more focused on feeling comfortable instead of dressing up for the cameras. She revealed her off-duty look, telling Net-a-Porter, "Usually I am just a kid in a hoodie, jeans, and a fanny pack." Still, dressing casually doesn't mean that she's not making a bold statement. Shahidi is very aware that fashion often carries a deeper socio-political message and goes beyond just looking good.
We're always being pushed into new areas, and it's very easy to feel small, and so oftentimes I use my outfit to kind of solidify where I am in the world.
Yara told Net-a-Porter, "I wear a ton of political t-shirts because I get to wear things that state my political opinions. Fashion is associated with an ideology. You could wear a beret, but when you tilt it to the side, you go from Parisian to Black Panther." Shahidi admits that the opportunities that have been afforded to her might not have come so easily if she didn't fit a particular standard of beauty. And as an African-American woman with lighter skin, she recognizes that she experiences a certain amount of privilege. She told Refinery29, "So many times in the conversation, colorism is used as a straight-up denial of blackness. We use it as a denial of any sort of experience versus using it as an affirmation that there are things that I haven't had to go through. And the reason that I'm probably not aware of them is that I haven't had to go through them."
As a young girl, I think it's easy to get overwhelmed, and you have always been that example of just how to own your space.
Shahidi added that she's even experienced the issue at home, with her own mother. She revealed to the outlet, "Having a mother with the exact same face but with different skin tones has always made it a conversation in our family." You've probably gathered by now that Shahidi isn't your typical young Hollywood celeb. While she grew up in the public eye and has certainly banked enough money by now to retire early if she wants, she's focused on making the most of her opportunities.
I'm a really great DJ, and my brother would disagree with me, but I still fervently support my possible career in being a DJ.
While some people her age, celebs or not, might be out partying, Shahidi is staying focused on the future. But what might seem like a tendency to be a homebody isn't just a personal preference. It's also a decision Shahidi makes because she is conscious that Hollywood can come down harshly on women of color. She revealed that she doesn't feel she couldn't get away with getting into as much trouble as her white peers, telling Refinery29, "I definitely do believe there's a culture which makes it harder to mess up or get back up once you've messed up. I am hyper aware of my surroundings at all times. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was hyper aware of what other people around me were doing. I'm never going to find myself in positions in which I genuinely regret what I'm doing." So what's next for the successful young woman who seems to have the world at her feet? Graduating from Harvard is definitely in the stars, but like many people her age, the rest of her plans are uncertain. But wherever she goes, she's determined to make her mark. The actress revealed to Net-a-Porter, "I have this whole thing about legacy. A legacy only lasts 50 years, and when that generation ends, then what was my impact?"
Baby, Your future's so bright, it burns my eyes.
When asked about what her plans for her acting career might be, Shahidi was ambivalent, saying, "I guess I start by saying Hollywood is seemingly extremely trivial. Media is important, but the machine around the media is centered around red carpets and this idea of celebrity and personal cachet. All of these things in the long run don't have much of an impact." It's a bold statement for a young actress whose career is on the rise, especially one who has been a lucky beneficiary of that Hollywood machine. But it's also proof that Shahidi is here for something much more real than fleeting fame.
The future is ever expanding and opening and undefinable.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favorite celebs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.